Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto content, and today we are going to be talking about HEDERA HashGraph, or HBAR. I've talked about this multiple times. As you guys already know, this is one of my favorite holds in the game right now. Very undervalued and very overlooked, if you will. Now, I've talked about how HEDERA HashGraph is going to disrupt major markets, especially even in financial branches, automotives, etc. And today we actually have a tweet from Crypto Airy. She is pretty much an XRP supporter overall. No problems there. Like I said, I hold both XRP and HBAR, and I think that they both will perform greatly this bull run. Now, when we talk about this tweet, she is talking about interoperability basically being the focus of the BIS, and that is Bank of International Settlements. And this is talking about CBDCs basically being used in cross-border payments. Now, interoperability, you really need that, especially when we're talking about digital currencies, digital payments, because connecting these DLTs, if you will, and these CBDCs to each other to really kind of transact information, that is a pretty big key component, especially kind of moving money like that in a way of instant payments at a massive scale. So I definitely believe that interoperability is going to be the main focus. Now, when we talk about interoperability, even if we come over here, now I don't think that this is a huge piece of the pie or anything like that. I don't think that's major or anything like that. But this is Q2 2021. This has already happened, and this is Interoperability Demo. This is a demo application showing a layer 2 network enabling interoperability with third-party systems and DLT networks. Now, I do think that HEDERA HashGraph has interoperability pretty much tied into it. It's one of those assets that I would say kind of strives to be interoperable with other networks and other DLTs alike. And I do think that is a big component, especially even if we're looking here, right? CBDCs, the BIS is even talking about it, especially being used in cross-border payments. Now, like I said, am a holder of XRP and also HBAR, and me personally, I think that they both will be used greatly, but I don't think that XRP is going to move all of the money how people say it will, because I just don't believe it. And when we look at that and kind of analyze it, and the reason why I don't believe it is because there's also going to be other bridge assets in this space. So until one of them is actually fully chosen, we can't believe speculation. So I do think that XRP is going to do great. I also think that HBAR is going to do great. Now, they're both interoperable together. I seen a lot of tweets where people were saying, well, what if XRP is built, like the XRP ledger is basically built on HEDERA HashGraph? I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think that that's kind of just like, hopium, if you will. It's almost like two of your favorite TV shows basically colliding together and making one show. So I just don't see that happening, especially in this space. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about this video, so let's kind of watch it together.
If CBDCs are to become a useful tool for making cross-border payments, interoperability will be a key feature. Also, improvements in regulatory, supervisory, and oversight frameworks are essential preconditions if CBDCs are to be able to reach their potential for making cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and reliable.
So I just want to talk about a key point there, and this is this point. So it's improvements in regulatory, supervisory, and oversight frameworks. Now, I do know that HEDERA HashGraph is very regulatory compliant, and I just think it's one of those choices that has a very strong framework integrity, especially when we look at the idea of who's basically going to help run the entire network, which is ran by these top 100 companies worldwide, which again kind of goes into the idea that it's not decentralized, whatever, which we've kind of already debunked. But I think when we look at even for an example, MTech kind of basically helping build the US CBDC on HEDERA HashGraph, or utilizing HEDERA HashGraph's overall trust layer, I think the trust layer is the big selling point for Hedera Hashgraph. I don't think that HBAR is going to, I mean, unless they basically build the bridge, which they've been talking about with AOBT, then we could see a lot of money move over that bridge utilizing both AOBT and also HBAR. That would be huge. But if that does not happen, if they don't utilize the bridge, I think that they will most likely utilize the trust layer for HBAR, kind of heightening security, focusing on those pain points of less secured payments and kind of alleviating the stress of and worry, I should say, of pretty much transacting digitally, because that's a big pain point for a lot of people who don't trust their information being stored on these payment structures. So I do think that the trust layer will definitely help alleviate the pain point of not only cyber attacks and stuff like that, but also fraud and stuff like that, which we already know is a big point for HBAR's most of the HBAR use cases. So with that being said, I do think that HBAR is going to be utilized in a mass way, especially utilizing CBDCs. I think that the main focus point is the U.S. CBDC. I mean, I know that MTech's already kind of working with the Bahamas on the sand dollar, but I don't think that that's going to be a global thing. I don't think that Hedera Hashgraph is going to be utilizing CBDCs in a mass way like that. Especially when we look at XRP having 300 plus financial institutions under its belt. I think for the most part RippleNet that has the choice of utilizing XRP is going to be the main focus point of the bread and butter for XRP and Ripple. Now, with that being said, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. This has come from Danny Ide. Now, I talked to you guys a little bit about the automotive scene, and this is huge when we talk about a lot of these companies. Now, we've discussed the idea that Hedera Hashgraph is trying to build pilotless airplane technology for Boeing and stuff. I think that's the same thing for even truck companies, because Tesla was talking about having driverless trucks that will deliver goods and services for a lot of these businesses, especially Amazon. Like Amazon's pretty much the big giant here, but this is huge when we talk about even Renault Trucks. We also talk about Bosch Global and Volvo, as well as even SNCF. Now, SNCF, I don't know too much about. I can't really talk about it, but I do know that it is a big company. But I do know Volvo. Everybody pretty much knows Volvo. Huge company, especially in the automotive scene. Bosch Global, I've heard about here and there. This is more so a technology and services pretty much company. And then we also have Renault Trucks, which is pretty much a supplies commercial vehicle company, which when we look at this, now I'm not going to go too much in depth here, but Danny Ide pretty much quotes this, which is great. So thank you, Danny Ide. But he's saying, this is from 2019, by the way. We have 20 projects, 1 in full production, and 3 are in beta test. We also have an open experiment in London that's community project. Now, when we come down here, we also see we have 7 pilot projects, amongst those 1 related to collective self-consumption in London. Out of these 7, I'll talk about 2 today because they established that link to IoT and AI. And this says EDF official discussing blockchain and AI at 30:50 if you want to listen to it. And then we see, let's try to unpack EDF blockchain projects and start with the first one today. Collective self-consumption is about production and consumption of renewable energy by prosumers in the same building, street, or neighborhood. Then we also see EDF Energy and UCL Energy Institute, both Hedera GC members, are implementing Project Community with Repower London. The project enables residents of Elmore House in Brixton to trade peer-to-peer solar energy and certify the transactions using blockchain. We also see Urban Energy Club took the community project one step further by testing how residents can support local energy grid run by UK Power Networks by offering flexible power services from the communal battery to respond to supply and demand in the area. Now, I do think this is really cool. It's basically a power grid powered by, the same solar panels, if you will, which I think that's cool because even when we talk about, solar panels and, even wind energy and stuff like that, the big thing is space, right? It consumes a lot of space. It's even solar panels, right? They're basically all built on people's roofs, and they utilize the entire roof. So I think that this is cool how you could pretty much have them kind of communicate with each other, if you will, because that's what I'm kind of getting out of this, right? We're seeing, it enables the residents of Elmore House and Brixton to trade peer-to-peer solar energy and certify the transactions. So I think that's cool when you could trade kind of solar energy. I believe that that's what I'm getting out of this, at least. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I think that's cool, right? I think any sort of initiative where we're changing solar panels or solar power, I should say, or green energy, renewable energy, I think that's a huge market to capitalize on. And I've talked about how this is an ever-growing and ever-prospering market as well, because I think that as time goes on, it's going to be adopted more and more. So I think that this is a huge market to kind of look at, and kind of if we could disrupt it, that's even bigger. And I talked about that in one of my latest videos. I talked about how basically by 2050, Hedera Hashgraph looks to kind of have a carbon neutral power system or electricity system, as well as even vehicles and stuff like that. So I think that this is cool to really look at. And I think that behind the scenes, Hedera Hashgraph is working with a ton of companies and communities around the world to really kind of disrupt a lot of these huge markets. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. I think that this is very bullish. I think that this is really cool too. I think that this is what we actually really need, is innovation to already new age technology before it even becomes a huge thing, because solar energy and solar power and even just renewable energy is becoming a mainstream thing. So while it's still kind of big and stuff like that, and I think it's only going to get bigger, it's great to innovate it now before it just becomes way too big. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. I think that's very cool. But nonetheless, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys do want more free content, you guys can follow me on Twitter at NCashOfficial. You guys could also join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.